CSA 2010. I've kind of simplified it. It may be oversimplified for the driver, but my message to them is be on top of your equipment. Make sure you do a thorough pre-trip and obey the rules on the road.
Professional.
Am I missing anything here? What would you add?
Exactly the same. You're going to be held accountable for what you do, which is the way it should have always been, and that shouldn't change anything. You're an American hero. You're a truck driver.
Yeah.
You are held to a higher level of responsibility. You are held to a higher level of respect. There's nothing wrong with that. It may have a negative impact on the guys that aren't paying attention to the way they're driving and their driving habits. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing because those that are willing to learn from it, we're not talking about the federal government isn't talking about shutting you down or revoking your CDL. They're not talking about any of that. They're not talking about placing you out of service or anything. What their goal is to make sure that on any 3-year period, you know, that you've got a decent record.
It actually can work for you because anybody can make a mistake, and certainly we truck drivers, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We make mistakes.
Sure.
Well, CSA 2010 is going to document that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, if you keep making the same mistake,
yeah,
then you're documenting negative.
Exactly.
If you make a mistake and you change your behavior and it doesn't happen again, then you're documenting a positive.
Exactly.
You know, we can prove that you're imperfect. We already know that. We don't need to prove it.
Yeah.
We prove that you learned from your mistake because it hasn't happened again.
That's it. And I think that's the difference, is those that are willing to learn from their mistakes, those that are willing to pay attention and improve, will be the ones who thrive. And as you mentioned early on in this conversation, those are the ones who are going to be profitable down the road. And I think that's what this comes down to, because we're already seeing the pool of drivers, as you also mentioned, kind of dwindle down here, even ahead of the full implementation of CSA 2010. But that means that each good driver out there, each good driver is going to be more valuable in this market, and that's a positive.
Well, I think it's going to be a benefit to the good drivers out there, because what's going to happen, is as the driving pool tightens up, the drivers have already started to slow down and jumping from job to job. As it tightens down, the motor carriers don't have any choice. If we can't bring drivers in the front door, we're going to have to do what we should have always been doing and shut in the back door. We've got to take better care of our drivers, make sure we're communicating with them. That's a great positive for the trucking industry, for the driving force. They're going to be taken care of better. But I think one of the other things that we're looking at night transportation, we've actually tried to give something back to the industry as well as help ourselves out in the process. And we started up a company called Squire Transportation a couple of years ago. Just in its infancy, we've got about 55 trucks running right now. And what we tried to do is to try to get out of the old mindset of having a training program within a company. A lot of companies have tried to do training programs, and when they pay the trainee, the driver gets paid for the miles, it gets all messed up, and you wind up running it like a team, and the quality of the training just isn't there. The other problem that we had when we thought of this idea was often when you do a training program and you bring drivers on, new drivers to the industry always want to check the grass out on the other side of the street. So you can count on them to stick with you about 6 months, and then they're going to try something else out. So you really don't get a real return on your investment other than you're helping the industry out. So what we tried to do with Squire was to set up a completely separate company that was not night transportation and change the structure of it around so that it was incentive based, so that we could really do a quality job of making a professional truck driver to do things in a professional manner, covering all the 5 things: the communication, the productivity, profitability, equipment care and maintenance, all the things that are essential to being productive in today's environment. And what we did, we picked our best guys from night transportation as instructors. We brought them over to Squire to be instructors. We started up a very structured training program. We bring students on for a 4-week training program in the truck. We pay them, I think the wage right now is $350 a week. We pay them.
Wow.
They do the driving with the instructor those 4 weeks. Going through a structured course, and like I said before, our emphasis on quality. So if a guy needs an extra week, if he needs an extra 2 weeks with an instructor, we want him to be successful.
That's terrific.
Then we put him in a truck, his own truck, running solo, and he'll haul freight for Squire for about 30,000 miles, and then he'll qualify to come to work for night. And all through this incentive, there's once he takes off in his own truck, there is every 30 days he's given a performance evaluation. As he achieves different performance levels, he's given another penny a mile raise, all the way up.
Yeah.
After 30,000 miles, he has the opportunity to come to work for night at a 2 or 3 cent a mile raise in wages as well.
Wow.
Plus, we also, once they come to work for night, we have tuition reimbursement. So we're only taking students directly out of truck driving school, and Squire is more of a finishing school.
Yeah.
But the instructors are not, they get paid the miles that go on the truck, but their bonus incentive, they get a bonus when the driver graduates. They get a bonus every time he achieves a new performance level at Squire. Mm-hmm. Then they get a bonus incentive that for every successful review that they get with night transportation up to the first year.
Yeah.
So it can add up to, I think our instructors are getting about $14,000 a year.
Wow.
It's about 11 cents a mile raise is what it's putting on their bottom line.
Wow.
Being an instructor, if they do it right, because it's all based on whether the guy stays with it and does a good job.
Yeah, well, but those types of incentives, I think, is something that the industry can learn from. Because, I mean, we've heard it, Mike, too often that the CDL's schools will put these drivers out, and as you mentioned, quick turnover after 6 months, they think they're on to bigger and better things. And that doesn't help anybody.
No.
It's not helping that driver. It's not helping the companies that first, put the investment into training them and getting them through that 6 months. It's really not helping anybody. But I can see a program like this working, certainly benefiting the drivers long term.
We're really excited about it. We've got a huge waiting list. We've only got 2 divisions. We've got a Southern Cal division that's open now. We started out in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And we're looking to double its size this year. But I think that's, it still gives the guy the feeling that he can stay working for Squire,
right,
and go to work for any of the competition. He can work anywhere he wants.
Sure.
So he gets that feeling that he is jumping the fence to come to work for night transportation. Yeah. But the focus again is on quality, making a good professional truck driver that's going to be successful in any environment, in any company.
If they want to know more about night transportation, what do they do?
You can contact our 800 number at 800-489-2000. Extension 4 takes you to the recruiting line, and it'll ask you to enter your zip code.
Yeah.
And it'll route you to the nearest recruiter to your home.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Pretty slick option.
That's pretty cool. I like that. Well, thank you so much. Mike, great to talk to you. Hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for having me, and enjoy the show.
Thank you. You too.